Welcome back. We are here on the hot seat, and once again, I got our president and COO, Mr. Todd Rountree. Todd, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
All right, so I'm guessing since I have you sitting in front of the X Series Stencil Cleaner, you have an idea what today's topic's about?
I'm sure it's going to be about the X30.
If it wasn't, that'd be kind of funny though, wouldn't it?
I would.
You're right. So I got you back here in front of the X30. We're going to talk a little bit about this because looking at the numbers from 2020, the X30 was actually our most popular machine. We sold more X30s than any other machine here at AAT. And we have a few questions that have been coming up about production, about really the ins and outs of how it works. So why don't we start by you just giving a brief overview of exactly what the X30 is?
Okay, perfect. So the X30 is a fully automatic stencil cleaner. That's what it was designed to be, back in 1988. And we've just improved on it since then, continuing on with production today. But we also have added the optional Misprint and PCB package on it as well. So you not only can you do stencils, but you can also clean your misprinted PCB boards, as well as actually just cleaning fully assembled PCB boards.
So hold on, I gotta just apologize. I got some constructive feedback from some of our last videos. Apparently I used the wrong finger when I pressed this button, so I'm gonna make sure I use my index going forward. But let's go back to the machine. So you talk about some of the versatility of the machine. What really do you credit why the machine was so popular in 2020?
Well, basically, it's because of its fully automated capability. With less and less people being allowed on the shop floor and working in different shifts and things like that to be able to maintain social distancing, the need for a fully automatic machine rather than a machine that needed to be manned by somebody for the entire process really proved to be the case.
Yeah, I have to agree with that because with COVID being such a popular topic and impacting so much of our business on a day-to-day, that is really a lot of the questions that we were faced with, is talking about the automation, the value that it allows to have less people on the floor. So I'm actually going to pause for a quick second. I'm going to insert the commercial that we filmed for the X30. So you're seeing it here the first time. Please put on our YouTube page for a little while, but here is our X30 commercial.
Do you know what happens when you let a stencil sit inside a moist environment? The glue breaks down, and in fact, the entire stencil can completely fall apart. That is why the X30 Stencil Cleaner always finishes its cycle with an external position. This allows air to assist in the drying process, making sure you never ruin or lose a stencil to a moist environment again. You know what also rocks? Having an automatic machine, because all you do is you load it and you walk away.
All right, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that. A little fun we like to have here in the demo room, but that's a nice little introduction to exactly what the X30 Stencil Cleaner is all about. And as Todd shared right before I went to commercial, is that we can also use this with a Misprint and PCB. And as you see right now, when you're looking at Todd, I used the wrong finger again. When you're looking at Todd, you see that we actually have a bracket in there holding PCB. So let's talk about that a little bit.
This is basically our PCB holder. It is adjustable, so you can actually adjust it for different size PCBs, misprints, that sort of thing, to be able to hold it. And it is very versatile. It slides in and out just like a stencil would.
All right, now when we look at that, you can see that the X30 goes up and down, as you just saw in the commercial as well. So you remove that, you add in the PCB bracket. What exactly is the Misprint and PCB package?
It adds, of course, the holder. It also adds a hot vortex heater, and it adds a water knife rinse on it, so that you can actually rinse PCBs much better than our standard kind of conical rinse. So you still get your conical rinse, but you also add the added step of the water knife rinse as well.
That's perfect. And that's a huge transition into the difference between our Misprint and PCB package and why you wouldn't just want to use your ultrasonic cleaner you may already have in the operation.
Well, and that's a good point as well. The short answer, or not really not an answer because I guess it wasn't a question, but basically your ultrasonic cleaner, you actually can do a misprint in it. Problem is you can only do it once. As soon as you do it, you're going to actually have to fully drain the machine and clean the machine out because while ultrasonics can be good at some things, what they're bad at is redepositing solder balls back on the product. So if you're submerging your stencil or your PCB or your misprint for that matter in an ultrasonic cleaner, if you've done it one time, that solder actually continues to kind of flip around the ultrasonic action and has the potential of redepositing on the board surface. So with the X30, you don't have that issue. We have spray and air that gravity feeds back down towards the holding tank.
All right, well, that's even better transition. I swear you're looking at my notes, man. But being on the hot seat, you know exactly what I'm going to ask you. I feel like you've given this presentation before. But I actually did get a special request this week. It's why we're doing this video. Now, when we talk about the misprint, purely just the misprint, if I already have one side completed and I put that back into the stencil cleaner or the X Series Stencil Cleaner, what about solder balls getting back through the machine and onto that clean side of the board?
Well, it's just not going to happen. And basically the reason why is, once again, we're in a vertical format. So when we're spraying that printed side or the misprinted side, we're also, of course, spraying the completed side, the actual populated side. But basically, while we're doing that, everything is gravity fed back down towards the drain, which goes back into our wash tank. Now, we are recirculating that wash, but as everybody knows, solder is much heavier than water. So basically, when it hits that tank, all of the solder will actually fall out to the bottom of the tank. But just in case, if any of it did make its way all the way from one side of the tank to the pump side of the tank and got back in that pump, we do have a 10 micron filter that filters anything like that out before we recirculate it.
So I think I understand exactly what you're saying. We take all the precautions, they're all built in. It is an automatic machine, so it's filtering the majority of it out. But even if it did make it through, because we have those rotating spin wands inside, it's going to spray it out. It's not going to make it. It's not going to stick to the board. It's going to be removed. You have nothing.
Absolutely. The physical energy that we have in the machine, even if you were to redeposit or basically bring some of that solder back in, some of those solder balls, we're spraying with such force that they would not stick, and we would never have the issue.
And when did this machine first get manufactured?
1988.
And how many of those do we still have on the assembly line?
Most every single one from 1988.
That is correct. And that was a little TF question. This is an Austin American Technology video. I am Justin, the Director of Business Development. We've got Todd, the President and CEO. So we're always going to fluff up our business a little bit. We're going to brag about some of our best machines, including the X Series Stencil Cleaner that's available in an X30 or even a larger tank, which is our X40. You can get it in a combustible or flammable version where we protect it. We put the cover on top and make sure that you are safe. Todd, I'm going to send it back to you one more time. I want to thank you for taking a Friday and being on the hot seat, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thanks. You do the same.